Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to our February Coffee with the Principal. I'm Mr. Klatzker, or Daniel Klatzker. I'm the principal here at Lexington Junior High School. Looks like we have approximately 30 plus parents here today. It's fantastic. We have some special guests here today. We have a great morning for you with a lot of information regarding our registration process, the 6-year academic plan. We'll answer questions in terms of where, if you have questions regarding high school and beyond. And then also we have a special guest here, Vinod. And Vinod, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself and who you are.
So hello, my name is Vinod, and my role is I'm Cypress High School's student ambassador. So what that kind of means is I'm just a representative of Cypress, and by extension, Lexington too. So I regularly meet with Mr. Klatzker, our principal here at Cypress, and I attend district events. And the goal is to kind of ensure that a student voice is really represented throughout the district.
Wonderful.
And I'm looking forward to speaking with you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Vinod. And Vinod will be speaking the second half of our presentation, and he's going to be talking about our AUHSD Pledge, and we'll be able to answer questions. So please, as we're continuing our Coffee with the Principal, you feel free to put questions in the chat box, and then we'll do our best to either answer them when they come up, or at the end of the meeting, there'll be time for us to talk. So. All right, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so today's focus is going to be on the 6-year academic plan, which includes our counseling department and also what it is that you need to know as you go forward into high school, Cypress High School. I'm going to assume everybody's going to go to Cypress High School. And then beyond that, if you want your children to move on to university level, college level, or whatever it might look like. So right now, we are in the midst of our registration season, and typically we would have the counselors presenting, but they are busy doing registration right now. So as you can see there, we go out to visit our 6th graders, and we also have the 9th graders coming in to see us, our 9th grade counselors coming to see us. We're kind of like a sandwich, right? We have our 6th graders we have to bring up, and then we have our 8th graders that we're saying goodbye to. So our counseling visits are throughout this next week and the week after, and they're going to be in the science classes for the 8th graders. So if you're an 8th grade parent, please put on your calendars February 7th for your kids. That's when they're going to be coming into the classrooms to give the registration cards and talk about the course requests and so on and so forth. Our Lexington counselors are going to be going into our 7th grade classes on February 9th, 10th, 16th, and 17th, and they're going to be doing it in the history classes. And while we're in the classes, we're going to be taking them through that registration process, giving them their counseling cards, their registration cards, and answering any questions. They're going to take these cards as they go through and choose their course selections, and then they're going to bring it home to you. And you get to go through it with them, and then we're going to ask you to sign them. We're going to give them a date to bring it back, and then we collect them. Go to the next slide. So when they're with the counselors, they're going to be doing a few things. They're going to be, and this is our 6-year plan, and we meet with every single student. We meet with the 8th graders leaving, and we meet with the 7th graders. So what happens is we review their current transcripts, and this is really important for our 8th graders. And we talk about the graduation requirements and what's called A through G at that high school level. We talk about whether or not college is the path they may want to go, or why college. Why do we go to college, or is there something else beyond high school? We talk about the systems. We talk about military options. We talk about financial aid as they are kind of continuing into their sophomore and junior and then senior year. And then we help them write a plan for high school. Now, we're talking about 8th graders that change their minds from day to day, and we know that their high school plan may change their mind from day to day, but this is a starting point for us. And we like to look at our junior high school as a continuum of 6 years, not just 4 years. So when we talk about our plan, it's not a 4-year plan, it's a 6-year plan. And this plan is not set in stone, but it is subject to change. So let's talk a little bit about transcripts and what you might see on your transcripts. So when they are continuing their transcripts, so for example, we have a sample transcript up here. And in this transcript, you're going to see the classes that were being offered, their 7th grade, 8th grade, and this looks the same as it would in high school as well. So if you have high school students, it's going to look the same for them. And what you're going to see on the transcripts are semester grades. You're going to see total credits earned, and then you're going to see the GPA. Now in junior high, there is no requirement to move up to the high school level. We do have to require students to take health, but beyond that, there is no diploma. Students will matriculate up to the high school level. Then we will not hold any 8th graders back, okay, even if they're struggling in their courses. But once they get into high school, the game changes a little bit because now they're working towards graduation. And that is an important piece. So we want them to be successful here in junior high because we know that will lead to success. But at the same time, we know that if they're struggling a little bit in junior high, it's not going to affect their graduation and their prospects beyond. So what you're looking at right now is a typical 7th grade transcript. You're looking at the grades, you're looking at the GPA at the bottom, and then you're looking at the total credits attempted. That's going to change when they get into 9th through 12th. It takes 220 credits to graduate high school. And these are the things we go over with the students. And we go over them again, their 9th grade year. We go over it again, their 10th grade year and their 11th grade year. But by that time, that 220 dwindles, right? It goes down, down, down as they get closer to their graduation time. Okay. So there's going to be a form that's going to be given to the students. And this is important for the 8th graders to know. So if you're an 8th grade parent, the reality is that your road in high school starts with this registration. And your road in picking classes will start here. So it's an important process for you to be familiar with and to ask questions. So if you have any questions, please ask the counselors or ask any of us. You're going to be given this form. The students will be given this form, and it's going to outline what are our graduation requirements, but also what are our A through G requirements. And there are two different things. The graduation requirements is simply the classes that are required to graduate high school. The A through G requirements are, in addition to graduating high school, you must meet certain A through G requirements, like taking certain classes, in order to apply to a 4-year university. This does not apply to the community colleges like Cypress College. And Vinod's going to share a little bit more about this later. But in order to get into a UC or to be eligible for a UC or Cal State's system, you do have to work through the A through G. And that A through G requirements is taking certain math classes, how many years of world language, taking the fine arts, taking the English classes and the science classes. There's a question. The question is classes in Lexington don't count to the 220 credits. Do honors classes count? No, no classes at Lexington Junior High counts towards that 220 credits. The only class that does count for A through G is the world language Spanish class, that if your child is enrolled in that 8th grade Spanish class, that can count as 1 year of world language when you get into high school. However, it does not count towards the 220 credits. Okay, so I'll repeat that. The world language counts as 1 year of foreign language at the high school. It does count for that transcript. However, the class, the amount of credits you get in that class, the 10 credits, does not go towards the 220. Okay. So here is the list of requirements that kind of make up the 220, and it's a combination of these things. You must take 4 years of English. You must take 3 years of history. You must take 2 years of science, a life and physical science. You must take 3 years of math, a year of VAPA or a world language, 1 year of a career education, 2 years of PE, 1 semester of health, and recently the meeting the ethnic studies requirement, which Vinod can talk a little bit more about that and how that works at the high school level. And then 40 hours of civic learning. Now, this is over the course of your 4 years in high school. There's plenty of opportunities. And if you were to pass every single class and follow it, you're going to have way more than 220 credits. This is the minimum of credits that you need to take to pass. And it's 5 credits per semester. So when you look at this, the 40 credits is taking 8 semesters of English. So it's another way to look at it. Are there any questions on that? Going back to the credits and the graduation requirements. This is not the same as A through G. A through G is just a little bit more. So it's not just taking 1 year of APA, it's taking 1 year of APA and 2 years of world language, and it's recommended to take 3. Okay. All right. So there are different systems of higher education that we talk about with our students. And we have these conversations now, right? We introduced the college and career fair in 7th grade and in 8th grade back in October to get them college minded and college going, and even beyond high school going, just whether it's career or it's college. We want them to start having those thoughts and thinking about, what do I do beyond school? Not that we expect a 12-year-old to know exactly where they're going in life, but we want to have these conversations. At the 8th grade level, we have even more conversations about them, like, okay, what does it mean to register for high school? And then that continues on through high school. So Vinod's going to share a little bit later the pledge, but I just wanted to bring this piece to you, which is the 4 systems of higher education that we offer the students, or the students can apply to after they finish their high school career, right? After their 6-year plan, 4 years of high school. We have the California community colleges, right? 2-year programs, associate's degrees, vocational transfer, lower cost. Then we have Cal State University, which is the largest university system in America, I believe. It's a 4-year program. I know most everybody is aware of this. They earn bachelor's, master's, whatever it might be, their teaching credentials. That requires A through G requirements, and the average cost for a Cal State University system is $5,742 a semester. Okay, it's a little bit more in cost. Moving up on the pay scale is the University of California, right? The UC systems, UCLA, UCI, UC San Diego. It's a 4-year program. Again, they have bachelor's, master's, but then they can also offer doctorates. A through G requirements are required for that. And the average cost for UC systems is about $15,600. So it's an increase in tuition cost. Then you also have private and independent colleges, which can range from 2 to 4-year programs. And again, those offer anything from associates to doctors. Those also require A through G. But then the costs vary because it's a private institution. They tend to be more expensive, $38,000 and perhaps $55,000 in tuition. That would include USC, Chapman University, and private colleges like that. Go to the next slide. Okay. We also have conversations about military options. College isn't for everybody. We don't think that college is for everybody. There's lots of roads that lead from high school for people to be successful. But we do talk about this as the requirements for military is 18. There's a physical requirement. You must have a high school diploma. So if your child is interested in going into the military at some point, they only need to get the 220 credits. They do not need to do A through G. And then there is a citizenship requirement, U.S. citizen or permanent residence. And so all of this information is going to be talked about again and again at the high school level. When they get into high school, right now as a junior high parent, your goal is to get them going in school, academics, getting them prepared. This information is really more into high school, is what they can get when they get into college, or how they can help support you to go into college. And there's all different types of ways. There's grants, there's scholarships, there's loans, and there's work study. so that everybody can go to college if they want to go to college. And that's really the ultimate, one of the goals that we have here is talking about our pledge to everybody in terms of getting you and getting your child prepared to go to school. We should never let money stand in the way of these types of things. We want to be able to help you, help support you. And our counselors are also there to help support you and guide the students. Well, what do we do in life situations to help you get to the place you want to be? Whether that is a community school first, like Cypress College, transferring to a university level, or going straight to university level, in whatever path your child wants to go on. So that leads us up to our academic plan. So as we get started with our registration in 8th grade, and that's why it's important to have the conversation now, is that's going to dictate what they take their first level at 9th grade, right? So this is what it would look like. Excuse me. And again, this can change, and this is outlined from the counselors. So you can see on the left-hand side, this is just the graduation requirements, what students will take, their 6 classes as they will go through the registration process. And then the A through G classes that are mandatory and then recommended or required. And you'll see that they'll take a pen and pencil, pen and paper, and they will fill this out. We still do pen and paper, and then we upload it at some point digitally, but we do want them to be engaged, and we want them to look at it, digest it, and have that conversation about it. So this is the class of 2026. So Jonathan or Vinod, help me out here. Class of 2026 would be, we're 23, 24. So this would be our current 9th graders, 10th graders, our current 9th graders, I believe. Okay. Move on to the next one. All right. And obviously all of this is helping our students be successful, college, career, life, creating a better space for everybody, creating that space for us to do well. And whatever their academics and the electives that they want, and we help support them. So before we go into the next slide, and that's going to be Vinod talking about opportunities and how AUHSD will help families with our pledge. Let me pause for a second to see if there are any questions, maybe from the interpreters or from in the chat box. Okay. No questions? If a question does come up, I will stay on and I will answer them in the chat box or at the end if you have an individual question. But I want to turn it over to Vinod now. And he's going to talk about our opportunities and the AUHSD Pledge that we have pledged to students and families going back a few years now, and what that means for you, 8th graders, 7th graders, if you have high school students, and the opportunities that will provide for you as well.
So hello again, my name is Vinod. For any of the ones who just joined in, I'm the student ambassador from Cypress, and by extension, I also support Lexington and kind of share information from this district. So first up, I did want to mention that I really do think it's important to be a bit knowledgeable about what high school will be like for your students. At least I can speak from my own perspective. I wasn't too knowledgeable going into high school. So the first couple of years were a lot of exploration and really trying new things. So having an idea of what your students are going to experience is a really important thing. And I hope that through this presentation, I can share some of the stuff that our district's going to offer. And I do want to start that the whole goal our district's really trying to envision is we do want to make a better world. And we mean that our students will be the future, and that we hope that our students will come through our district and that they'll develop skills and modern tools that they can use that when they go to work, college, or wherever they move on, that they can take those skills and really succeed and thrive, creating a better world for everyone along the way. So I think the main focus is that the world is facing new social challenges. For anyone who's up to the news, artificial intelligence and cheating in academics has been a big topic recently, and that our district hopes to aim to play a leading role in solving those shared problems by investing in our students' our future. So as I said before, developing new skills and modern tools that can help in the workplace, college, and can really ensure that our students can go out of high school not just knowing the academic tools, but really how to succeed and thrive in a workplace environment. So once again, we envision a better future, and our goal is that we combine youth voice and purpose some technical skills, and modern 21st century skills. These are commonly referred to as soft skills, and these are really important for workplaces and any future aspirations. Now, I want to first begin with one of the offerings that our district has, and they're called our exclusive pathways. So each school in our district has their own exclusive academic pathway, and through we focus to get the highest level quality, and we focus on career education. The idea is that students often, when they go to college or their career, they don't have too much of a practical understanding of what that entails. They may have some technical knowledge, but they don't really know what exactly a person in the field would do. So we try to alleviate that by having opportunities in high school, so regular classes, elective classes, that students can take and really build that knowledge. Some exclusive pathways we have are the biotechnology one, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and at Cypress High School, we have the exclusive law and justice. And here, just from my own experience with some of the people who I know, law and justice is really impactful for them because they got real experience studying case laws, and now in college, they're planning on pursuing that further. So exclusive pathways are a great way for students to really go into high school and develop an interest and then pursue it, and not just have to wait till college to really start with something they want to really appreciate, but they can start early. And this is something that we've mentioned, but it's our FACES, a family and community engagement. Now, each school has a FACES, which is that acronym, to support our families with resources and navigating the system. As I'm going to mention throughout the presentation, there's a lot of different services and offerings that our district and our schools have. So it's really important for parents to be connected to ensure that their students aren't slipping through the cracks and they can be supported. Some of the ways that our FACES support our students are through parent workshops, through college awareness, A to G that Mr. Klatzer previously mentioned, financial aid, and college admissions, and through engagements such as parent leadership academies, parent learning walks, coffee with the principal, which is what we're doing right now, Ready, Set, Go, and LCAP engagement, which is essentially our budget allocation in the district. Now, this is what Mr. Klatzer previously mentioned, but it was the AUHSD Pledge. So the idea is that after students meeting a requirement in high school, they get free tuition for 2 years at Cypress and Fulton College. As previously mentioned, these are community colleges, and here students would focus on their GE or general education classes at a lower price. After, they would have an admission advantage to Cal State Fulton, and they would have a guarantee to UCI through the TAG program. This is essentially an opportunity for students to excel early on in high school, develop classes and credits early in the first 2 years at the community colleges, and they can transition to a higher level college after. Okay. So now, with all these different ideas that we talk about how we're trying to develop new skills for students, we're trying to develop modern technical abilities. How does our district do it? How do we implement these tools? One section I'll talk about a little bit later is going to be the 5 C's. Our Anaheim Innovative Mentoring Experience, or AIME. This is our internship program. Dual credit programs with our community colleges. This is an opportunity for students in high school to take classes at our community college, so Cypress College, and gain high credit college credit that they can use when they apply there. Career technical pathways I previously touched on. These are exclusive pathways. Youth voice and civic purpose initiatives. I can share a bit more about this as my school's ambassador and some of the organization I'm a part of. And lastly, world languages, dual language immersion, and still biliteracy, which, while not necessary for graduation, it is heavily recommended in our schools. Now, the first thing I want to touch on is the 5 C's. So the 5 C's are kind of the core tenets that our school focuses on. We try to implement this in all aspects of our education. So between math, English, our government class, or science classes, we really want our students to embody these characteristics. We want them to be critical thinkers. We want them to communicate with each other, have collaboration, be creative, and show that they have compassion. And the reason is because these skills are so much more important just than the academic knowledge they know, because our students will use these 5 C's, and then when they go on to their career or work, they will use these 5 C's every single day. And developing these skills is an important tenet that we try to preach. Now, the first thing we'll touch on is the Anaheim's Innovative Mentoring Experience. So once again, this is our internship program. We've had over 14,000 students who have tried it over our district with 90 plus partners. It's not just in Anaheim, it is throughout with multiple online opportunities too. So we touch 19 cities and even including New York. Now I can share my own experience with this as an AIME intern. I worked for a cybersecurity company as this was something I was interested in partially. I did it for fun during the summer and I really enjoyed it. And then they called me back over the school year. So currently I'm still an intern with them and I'll likely get a part-time job with them going into my summer. So it is a real opportunity for students who are really interested in any field to develop knowledge and really work with them to become someone knowledgeable in the field and potentially work with their full time. I can share that in my AIME internship a couple years ago, there was a student who had their internship, continued to work with the company afterwards, and now works as a full-time employee. And he's the one who's actually teaching me at that internship. So it's a great opportunity for students who are really interested in their fields to explore it during their junior year and take it throughout past high school. So now I'm going to speak on the dual credit programs. So this is a partnership with two community colleges, so Cypress College, so right next to Cypress High School, and Fullerton College. Here, students have the opportunity to take classes at the college while also still being a high school student. So they can learn industry-specific skills because we have a wide range from cybersecurity, as I mentioned previously, business, medicine, and even law. And they can earn related certifications or industry awards that are related to those fields. Now, these courses are aligned to CTE pathways, as previously mentioned. These are career pathways at our high schools. They are different, though, that these are at the college or online with the college, while the CTE pathways are built into the student schedule. However, these credits that are earned, they are transferable to the university, meaning that any students who earn community college credits can use it once they graduate and use it to get a little head up start at college. Now, as mentioned, they do both earn high school and college credits. So students will, on their transcripts, they will notice that they're gaining high school credits. And also when they do apply to college, they'll have those credits there too. I can share from my perspective that I've been part of our dual credit program since my freshman year, and it's been honestly great. I think I can share is that the reason I even thought of cybersecurity as a career pathway for myself was simply just randomly taking one of the classes. Luckily, there was a sequence for me, so I followed that kind of sequence, kind of like mindlessly doing it until I realized I do enjoy it. I really do have a good time with it. And I can now share that I'm going to be earning my associate's degree in cybersecurity in the upcoming summer. And with that, I'm going to be working on full-time, likely after. So it is a real program and it's something that really can give students an opportunity to learn more out of the classroom than they can learn in just the ordinary classes. Now, one purpose that we do try to emphasize in our school is youth voice and civic purpose. I think students often have they have their own perspective on things. And with such a large district, nearly 30,000 students, it really is important that their voice is heard and recognized. One way we do that is through our clubs. One is raising student voice and participation. As our school student ambassador, I am also the president of this club. And I can share that in this club, one of the big purposes we do is we try to arrange meetings once every quarter where we go to every single classroom and gather input. We ask them, like, how is our school's facilities? Is our restrooms okay? Is the tables okay? How is the school culture? Is there any bullying problems, or is there any discussion that we need to be had? Academically, is there any things that are a struggle? Is finding ways to get service hours a struggle? Any internship worries, financial aid? And we really try to consolidate this information and share it. We want our students to understand that they can voice out what they feel that's a problem, and that they can be confident that it will be communicated to people who can really help and share. I can share that at Cypress through our summers early on. One thing we can share is our facilities. We're working on getting dividers for our restrooms, as that was something that was a problem early on. We're working to get cameras in our parking lot, as there's some theory early on in the year. And lastly, we're trying to make up more space with such a large school. It's hard for students to really physically sit down because we have nearly 3,000 students. So we're working to get benches for students. Secondly, I want to speak on the civic action projects. These are essentially projects that our students in our language arts and social studies classes do to kind of really reflect on and communicate how they can share out to the community. For me, I did mine this year in my government class, and there I spoke on desalination and how there's an opportunity for water to be more widely implemented. And through this, students are able to communicate with their large community, not just through their high school, but reach out to other people and see how they can make an impact on the world. Now, to share that our district has 6 California Civic Learning Awards of Excellence. And this is all based on the activities that we do as a district. 1,303 students in our class of 2021 earned the state seal of biliteracy. As mentioned, while our languages are not fully required to complete the pathway, many students are encouraged, and we have many students who earn the state seal of biliteracy. Lastly, we do have our AUHSD TED Talks. This is an opportunity for students to share their own perspective, rather than just sharing to district personnel or even me in some cases where I work out. This is them to just speak their mind. So a lot of students go to these soapbox speeches and TED Talks where they can share their voice and really speak out. I did notice a question in the chat, so I would like to mention it. Is it possible to view the high school pathway courses online? Yes, if you go to the different websites, I know Cypress High School has their own, you can check the different pathways. I can share that I know Cypress is the law and justice pathway, Magnolia, I believe, is the cybersecurity, and so forth. So yes, you can see that on the websites of the schools. Now, with all this different activities and different offerings that we're seeing, it's tough to really imagine, is it really working? Like, are the students actually using it? Is it being useful? And we can say that we can confidently say that it does. 90% of our students have high school graduation rates. That's a high number relative to a lot of other districts, and it's something that we are all proud of at our district. Completion of AUG requirements is at 51%. As Mr. Klatzker previously mentioned, these are the requirements that colleges look for, and with only half of our students achieving them, it shows that our students can come out of our high schools and be confident that they're ready to go further into their academic education. And lastly, we have nearly 3,600 students who have successfully completed dual enrollment courses. This means that nearly that many students are able to earn some credit. So when they go into college, they're saving money, they're saving their time, and they're more prepared for college coursework than their peers. And this is with nearly 3,600, we have nearly 10% of our students who are already on this pathway. And lastly, I do want to thank you for your guys' time. I think there's a lot of offerings I did mention, and I think it's important for earlier students to understand that there is a lot of things at our schools. So for your students who are coming in as ninth graders in the following year, please let them know that there's a lot of opportunities at our school, that they can reach out to many people and many district personnel, even any students that they see around, and ask them, how can I get involved? How can I learn some more? And how can I share my voice? Because there's many opportunities for all of our students to do. Now, if there's any more questions, you can scan here. There's some little bit more information to our district. These are the two people who kind of helped us print this information, Mrs. Amanda Bean and Mr. Carlos Hernandez. You can reach out to them if you have any specific questions on any of the ones. Mr. Hernandez is on community schools. This focuses on more engagement throughout our school. And Mr. Amanda Bean was the career preparedness systems. And this is kind of the whole cohesive nature of all the academic and the emotional aspect of our learning. If there's any questions, I'll check in the chat. I did see that they did, Mr. Klaxer and Mr. Barber did mention the exclusive pathways, so you can connect and reach out and see them online. But if there's any questions, please feel free to put in the chat and I can respond with however I mentioned that.
But we want to thank Vinod, and we'll give everybody an opportunity to ask questions. And so typically our Coffee with the Principal presentations run about 30 minutes or so, and then we open it up to everybody to ask questions. And it can be questions about registrations here at 7th and 8th grade. It can be questions about the pledge, about opportunities at the high school level. We are going to have a future Coffee with the Principal for our 8th grade parents to meet the high school team. So that's also another great opportunity a little later in the year for you to ask questions of the principal at the high school level, counselors, and other representatives there, especially when it comes to things like extracurricular programs. So in any case, we'll stick around for a little bit for questions and answering sessions about registration, about pledge, about GPA, A through G, life beyond college. Not sure we're going to be able to help answer everything beyond college because your kids aren't quite there yet, but we'll do our best to answer what we can. I'll open it up.
Mr. Klatsker, I did get a question from a parent, and I don't know if you might have some insight into this, but why is there such a big price difference between some of our higher institutions when you compare a community college, like a private college, or Cal State Fullerton, UCI? So if you have any insight into that price difference, they ask if this has to do anything with instructor requirements or qualifications.
You know, it's a great question. I don't think that I'm qualified to answer that question. I don't think I have an answer that would be an adequate answer. In terms of how they set their prices for community school, junior, our Cal States, and then University Beyond. And as a parent myself, I also am working through that as I have college age children and also high school and elementary school or junior high age children. So I'm in that same boat as you, right? What is best for your family? How do you, what is best for your child? And how do you help your child be successful as they go that route? I do want to stress that take advantage of the AUHSD Pledge. It is an awesome support for our students. And part of that pledge is to be able to get into that community college if that's the route, and then move over into the UC if that's what you would like to do, or Cal States. You will save money. It's something that is something that as a parent I think about. It's something that as an educator we talk about. So I can't give you an exact answer as to the reasons why, but certainly as you're working through this at the high school level, you can talk to the counselors and the assistant principals to help with that guiding. Okay, there looks like there's a question. It says, is the same high school counselor who sticks with each student and will guide the teens in recommending classes year to year? And the answer is yes. This next coming up year, the counselors are assigned to classes at the high school level, and you will be with, I believe, Miss Vaughn, who will be in the rotation as the 9th grade counselor, and then you will follow Miss Vaughn all the way through the senior year. Next question is, does Cypress High School does not have cybersecurity pathway. How do you complete that CTE pathway at Cypress High School? That is a great question for the counselor when they bring in for their registration. There are certain pathways they have at Cypress High School in addition to the law and justice pathway. It could be an engineering pathway or a medical careers pathway. But that is a question that you would have to ask or have your student ask that the counselor, Ms. Vaughn, when she comes in. Okay. Oh, and then it looks like Vinod actually answered that question. Regarding cybersecurity, there is a pathway through Cypress College. You want to go ahead and share that, Vinod?
Yeah, so I can share that. So currently, Cypress College does have a cybersecurity pathway. So that is where I completed all my cybersecurity work. So yeah, I was through the dual enrollment program, and there's a list of courses that are offered, and it's in a sequential order. So I kind of followed that pathway and I took courses there. So I know we do have it is a bit confusing because we do have a cybersecurity pathway through our district. I believe it is Magnolia who offers that, but I did not take it there. I did take it through Cypress College. So that's a clarification for that.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Vinod. That was a really helpful answer.
And then could you share the cost for you as a student for those classes, Vinod? And then if you have any certifications that you have to take, any testing, I know the district may or may not cover some of that. So if you could share some of your experience with some of that, or any other experience that you know, some of your other classmates at Cypress.
Yeah, so I can share that. For my dual enrollment classes, I didn't pay a single thing for any of the classes or any textbooks. All textbooks were either online, so there's no reason for me to pay for anything. The certifications that they're mentioning is that at the conclusion of each class, the knowledge that you gain kind of correlates to one of the industry certifications that are kind of related to the topic. So that our professors, they encourage us to take those courses, those certifications. For those certifications, our district covers all of them. So I did not pay for any of my certifications. I didn't pay for any of my classes. So on the conclusion of my certification, I do hold multiple now, and none of them were paid. The one thing I can add though is that there are some courses in that pathway I took that weren't part of the dual enrollment program. So I took it as an independent high school student, and as a result for those classes I did have to pay. I think prices, it's in line to what was mentioned on the previous presentation slide with the community college one.
Great. Okay. Other questions for us in regards to community college, the pledge, registration? Okay, well, this gives me an opportunity to share that our next Coffee with the Principal in March, we're going to be focusing on the LCAP process and how we collect data that helps guide those decision making, which guides the monies that are disseminated between the school systems. And so that's an important conversation for us to have. The other question, and Jonathan, I'd like you to put in the chat box before everybody leaves for the day, the LCAP survey. So encouraging parents to take that LCAP survey, which provides us feedback as a school and as a district as to where we want to focus our attentions on and put our money at and put our support. So that's our local control funding source, right? That's your voice as a parent in our community to help guide us as a district and educators. So that's going to be next month in March. And then also we're going to have a part of that same meeting is we're going to be going over state testing. What is needed for state testing, what you can do to help prepare your child for state testing. So those are going to be our two topics for our March Coffee with the Principal, which Jonathan, correct me, I believe is going to be March 3rd, March 9th. No, March 2nd. Okay, so I was off. It's going to be March 2nd. So those are our two topics. So I'll leave the window open for a little while in terms of questions that you may have. But other than that, thank you so much for taking time out of your day for being here with us. Please share that we do this online and we do it in person as well. Today was a virtual so that Vinod could be with us virtually. And we want you to spread the word in terms of getting more parents here. We want parent participation. We want you to be part of our group. We want you to ask questions. That's the only way we can work together and learn, right, from one another. So again, thank you so much for being here on behalf of Lexington Junior High School, Mr. Barba, Vinod. We appreciate all of you. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to contact the school and we can talk to you individually or email us, and then we'll be able to support you. Any questions for our interpreters that they might have for us? Okay, with that, then I'm going to say goodbye, and I'll stick around until everybody's gone. But thank you. Have a wonderful day, everybody. And we again appreciate you being here.